I'm back! Following the last video that I did, alright, that it was like changing classes of the Mighty Nein, focused on the TV show more than the campaign, I did 3. I saw that you liked it a lot, so I decided to make another one. But this one has 2 only, alright? It doesn't have 3. Because it takes so long to make this. If you haven't seen the last video, alright, watch it, because there you will have more context. Here we're going straight to the meat. The first one that I did here was Caleb Widowgast, alright? This guy is a wizard, alright, a human wizard that is very sad, and it's played by Liam O'Brien. I really enjoy this character because you can see the sadness and the trauma and all the weight that he has to bear, you know, because of his actions, his wrong actions, alright? And that's what I like about this character, because it's a fucked up character. It's fucked up. I was thinking, alright, Caleb, think about it. What does he give me? What is giving me, alright? And I was thinking, alright, he's like a sort of homeless guy, alright, that goes around going for components to get magic and everything, you know? Alright. So thinking especially about the nomad part, you know, the traveling thing without having much, I said, I could do a monk, no? Because it remembered me like this type of monks that go town to town, you know, without having anything, and they just live at the moment. So I had that in mind. So I wanted to make Caleb having that roughness of life in him. The most important thing, it was to not giving him anything. What I decided to do is to make just a normal t-shirt, you know, with a shitty jacket, with baggy pants, and that's it. Doesn't wear like a bag, doesn't wear like a backpack, doesn't wear jewelry. The only thing that wears are those ball necklace, wrist things, you know, that monks have. I know, very typical, alright, doing that for a monk, but I wasn't thinking, like, I couldn't think about something really interesting to give him to indicate that he's a monk, so I wanted to give him that, even though it's very typical. So as you can see, it's like, it doesn't have much thing, and that's the main idea. And he doesn't wear like a bag or a backpack, because here he is not like a mage. He doesn't do magic. I know that monks with key points can do magic, but that's not the idea of this, alright? So, because he is not a mage, he does not need components. So he does not need a bag to wear the components. I wanted to give him also a weapon, alright? A really interesting weapon that have monks are like the classical stuff, but I wanted to give a little bit more flower to the staff, you know? So I wanted to make like a green staff, bamboo staff. It doesn't look that much as bamboo. A bamboo that is a staff, or a staff that is a bamboo, but the cool idea here is that it has, at the end, it has metal stuff, you know? And it's not like spiky, it's like rounded, right? I really like the idea that it's rounded, because it's more bludgeoning, not piercing. Also, I wanted to add to the design something really important that I do with every single class change that I do about the Mighty Nein, that is maintaining something about the lore of the character. So you can, like, it's not only the character, you also preserve certain important aspects of the character, alright? And I wanted to do that with the tattoos, those maze-like tattoos that the Balls trackers have. A mistake that I did, that I just realized, is that he had those like cover or with the scars or something like that. So yeah, maybe it's a mistake, but I also like the idea of just leaving it there, like whatever. Also, another important thing is the scar. I gave him a scar in the chest, right here. A very prominent, eye-catching scar, right? And that's because he has, and by the way, that scar is intended to be like some sort of explosion or burn, you know? And you get the idea, like he has like a very tight relationship with fire. Giving him like a scar of that type, I think it gives another connection to that, which I really like. And also, scars are really cool to add to your characters because it gives a lot of questions. What is important here is that I try to give simplicity to this character, but enough interest, you know? And I think I did a very good job. I really like the drawing, I really like the design, and I really like the face and the pose. Oh my god, the pose. I love it. Once I had all that, I started to get into colors, which I hate because I don't know how to color. Alright, I'm so bad at palettes and color harmonies and all that. I'm so bad. It's the worst. So I went to the colors. I gotta be honest, I did the simple path. I did the easy path, alright? He has red hair, alright? I know it's not red hair, alright? It's like a browny red hair, alright? But has red on it. And what is the contrary of red? Green. So if you want to make something pop, alright, you need green to contrast the red. You need to create that contrast, you know? So I wanted to give the direction to the head, and how I do that? Giving green to the image, saturating the character with green, and having details with red to directionate the eyes of the people. That's what I did. And not only with the hair. I put everything in, like the big amount, in green. Alright? So the red pops out. Where I put the red? Here. Why? Because I want you to look here. I want that red to make you look there and you say, oh, it has a scar. Oh my god, you know? Then I put red on the wrist. Why? Because you look there and you say, oh, he has bands here because he is a monk and he trains and he has like the hands hurted, and also he has tattoos here. I want you to see the tattoos, right? Oh my god. Then, where I put it? In the staff, in the end of the staff. Why? Because there's metallic stuff there that I want you to look there and say, oh, this guy is dangerous, has a staff with metallic stuff there. And finally, where I put it also? In the feet, because I want you to see the bands of the feet. Also, obviously, the hair, because I want you to see the face. And in the face, you have blue, which is the only part that is blue, which is also eye-catching, you know? So yeah, that was the idea that I had. Other thing is that I did it well, alright, that's another thing, but that was the plan. So, once I have all these, I render. And honestly, I'm not gonna say anything about the render. If you wanna know about the render and how I render things, go to the last video, go to other videos where I explain rendering. I have explained it enough the rendering. I'm not doing more rendering explaining, oh, here the shadow and here the light, we already know, alright? It's the same rendering that I do with, you get the idea. So, here you have the result, the final product. And let me tell you, alright, it's not because it's me, but I have to say that it's kinda cool, alright? I really like it a lot. By the way, hey, this, alright, it takes really long, alright, and it's really hard for me, and I'm a nobody, so please like and subscribe, would be nice, alright? Going back, Nott the Brave, that's the another one that I did, and I have to say, Nott the Brave is an amazing character. Nott the Brave is a goblin rogue played by Sam. Nott the Brave is a complicated character, but I started thinking and I said, I already have done this thought process of what class I should do, contrary to a rogue, but it was in the other side, you know? I did Ford as a rogue because he was like a warlock paladin. So here I said, alright, I think that Nott should be a paladin, which, if you think about it, it's really fucking exciting that I was doubting into making her cleric, you know, it's also a really good idea, but I went for the paladin because I wanted to do like a heavy tank, big armor, you know. First problem, I want to preserve what is not, right? I don't want to erase it. So what I need to do is make a paladin and choose a right god. I could do also an oath breaker, but I wanted to choose a god. So I went to the gods of the world of math, and between all the gods, I decided to choose one god that already is on the Mighty Nein, that is the god of Yasha, called the Stormlord. I wanted that because I think it gives more room to show a more aggressive character, you know, like a more, you know, not I'm good, I'm here for the goodness of the world. Nah, so I wanted that room to explore this change of class. First of all, what I wanted to do is to obviously give her a massive armor, a very big, chunky armor, alright? Also, I wanted her to have like a very strong stance, you know? And she's not like angry, like, she is like excited for fighting or something, you know? Like she wants trouble, she wants something. I wanted to make that even more noticeable by the stance that she has, because she's like, you know, in the ground with the feet, you know, open, with a straight arm, with the other arm, big shield, alright, and the face of challenge, you know, like it's challenging you, like, come here, motherfucker, you know, it's trying to give that vibe. So it's true that giving this character like heavy armor with a heavy shield and all that, it's kind of like this same type of paladin that we all have seen, but it's not the armor, it's how you do the armor, right? So that was the main approach that I had, alright? I searched for a reference of the symbol of Kord, the Stormlord. I grabbed that symbol and I started to make patterns, you know, following shapes, you know, and color palette and stuff, and I started like working with that on the armor, you know, giving edges, giving like lining shapes, you know, very aggressive forms, all that. I wanted all that. And I think I did a pretty good job, you know, making a mix of chunkiness of the armor and also dynamism and an aggressive shape, you know. Also, I wanted to not have like this, like the bands that she has to cover her face, because I feel like if Nott was like a paladin, she wouldn't hide that much. I also made like the hair going back, you know, using like I don't know how it's called this, but I made the hair going back, and I think that's a really cool idea also because it gives more aggressiveness. Also, you want to have like clear vision when you are attacking melee. You don't want to have like hairs dangling in front of your eyes. So having that gives like more ready for combat vibes. Another thing, it was to give her, obviously to follow all this idea, I wanted to give her like a massive weapon, right? A really dangerous, imposing weapon, alright? So you look at that and you say, fuck no, I'm going back, alright? I'm not fighting with this. Once the design and the drawing was done, I entered to the color. Important thing to notice here. Here I had like a problem, and it's that Nott is green with yellow eyes, and the Storm Lord, the colors that I have seen, is blue and red. We already have like a big palette here, you know, green, blue, yellow, and red, you know? So I didn't want to add more colors to that, so I just said, you know what, I'm going to try to make like a hierarchy, you know, of colors and try to fit all those colors in. And the way that I did that was to make like the blue a special color, alright, like this color that shows very little and it's really in the background, you know, like you cannot notice it that much, you know? It's not like the point of attention, but it's not also a color that you use a lot. It's like more of an asset. Then, the red is what I wanted to be like the focal point. I think the red here, because if you see all the colors, like they go around, you know, you have blue, yellow, and then you have green that is in the middle of those. The color that is directly contrary to those three is red, so I had to do that one as the focal point. So I did details that I want you to look as red, the same as as Caleb, which also, by the way, this was not intended. It's kind of funny because Nott and Caleb are really tied, you know, they have a really interesting friendship. Nott and Caleb here, they have a very similar distribution of palette. So just a funny thing. So I think that with all these things, I have been able to manage, you know, enough, all the colors that I had to add. And after making all these decisions and all these colors, I started rendering, you know, painting and all that, and the same as before. So here you have the final product, alright, the final character design, and I think that is really cool, alright. I'm really happy, especially with the drawing and the design. Now the rendering I don't like that much, because the metals of the armor and the weapon doesn't look like iron. I feel I have done really bad in the material work, you know. Also I could have added like some dents, you know, of swords and stuff, you know, like give some story to the armor so you can see that it has been in combat. It is what it is. So that's all for today. I'm sorry I haven't done a third one, alright, I'm really sorry, but I had things to do, you know, this month, and it has been like really hard for me to keep up with this, you know, and this is what I could bring today. So yeah, I hope you like the art, I hope you like the drawings, and I hope that you enjoyed the video as much as I love doing this. So yeah, have a very nice day. Bye!